New reporting tonight on the daring operation in the middle of the night to rescue Americans from the U.S. Embassy in Sudan, including SEAL Team 6. And just before we came on the air tonight, the U.S. revealing a new 72-hour ceasefire in place in Sudan to allow desperate families a chance to escape the fighting and to allow the U.S. to help get more Americans out. Tonight, the Pentagon sending 2 Navy ships, one already there. And James Longman with late reporting tonight.
Tonight, inside the daring mission to save Americans at the U.S. Embassy in Sudan, we're learning new details about the overnight rescue, that dangerous nighttime mission to evacuate the embassy in the besieged capital of Khartoum. U.S. Special Operations Forces included the Navy's elite SEAL Team 6, and they flew 800 miles to Sudan's capital in 3 Chinook helicopters. They took off from a U.S. base in Djibouti and stopped only to refuel in Ethiopia. The choppers were on the ground for less than an hour, with several manned and unmanned aircraft flying overhead. All this under the cover of darkness. No shots fired and no casualties. They rescued close to 100 embassy staffers and their families. And tonight, just a short time ago, ABC News has learned a new US-brokered ceasefire is taking effect as the US works to assist thousands of American citizens still trapped in the war-torn country. The White House says it's actively facilitating the evacuation of those U.S. citizens who want to get out.
We have deployed U.S. intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets to support land evacuation routes, which Americans are using, and we're moving naval assets within the region to provide support. American citizens have begun arriving in Port Sudan, and we are helping to facilitate their onward travel.
According to a U.S. official, the Pentagon is looking at multiple options to facilitate the evacuation of people from Sudan if called upon, including the use of Port Sudan. That might mean the presence of U.S. troops. And we learned today the Pentagon is sending 2 Navy ships in a standby position near that port. They've also deployed drones over the only land evacuation route as UN convoys, some carrying Americans, make the dangerous 500-mile drive out of Khartoum. The White House says there's a willingness to get those Americans out of Sudan, but no mass evacuation is planned.
There's certainly a willingness to take steps to help Americans be able to get out of the country. The president has asked for every conceivable option to be able to help Americans.
American teacher Trillian Clifford and her 18-month-old daughter Alma are sheltering in place in Sudan. They're now rationing food and supplies. Earlier, her family called on the United States to help get her out.
I'm very frustrated because as a U.S. citizen who works abroad, she's always been told, the U.S. Embassy has her back. And it's very clear that they don't.
But the U.S. saying tonight they are working to help U.S. citizens who want to leave. An estimated 16,000 Americans, many with dual citizenship, remain in the country. But the State Department says only dozens have actually contacted the U.S. looking for help. And David, those U.S. diplomats were initially evacuated to that U.S. base in Djibouti, but now some of them are making their way back to the United States, landing back in Washington, D.C. tonight. And as for the thousands who are still trapped in Sudan, well, those ships are heading into the Red Sea, and they have capabilities to help transport people if needed or provide medical care. So there are no plans for a mass evacuation, but the United States wants to be ready if they get the chance. David?
We know you'll stay on at James Longman tonight. James, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.